Good morning. I wish you a happy Friday. Um, how has the week felt for you? I feel like this week was a little bit later than last week, but definitely a lot of energy with the new moon. So, really interesting. Um, we'll see how the weekend plays out. There's a few little things happening over the weekend, and so I would love to hear like what's happening in your world and how the this week felt in comparison to last week, and then going into the weekend with the energy of this new moon, and we have new intentions set, and we have a path forward that's different. I'd be curious like how that's working for you, what your plans are, that sort of thing. See how we're like really using this energy to move us, propel us forward. To go along with the theme of the week, kind of going back in time, and we're looking at our childhood. I'm going to share one last book, and it's one. Okay, so it's been interesting that when I've been putting polls out on my story to see who has read different books and if they know them or like them. Most of the books that I have shared, other than The Giving Tree, people had not heard of, and I find that fascinating because these were books that I read like constantly growing up. So this one, I'm almost positive very few of you are going to recognize it unless you were like, well, first of all, a child of the 70s might, or if you're like super into like classic books, okay? Richard Scarry's best storybook ever. And you can see on the top here, my dad was so funny about this. Like he had to put our names in everything. And the other books that I showed, I think I even mentioned in one of them, there was he had like the stamp property of, and it had our family name. I don't know what that's about. It must be something from his childhood. But this book is so important to me because my dad was one of those men who, you knew he loved you, but he wasn't super demonstrative or verbacious about it. And so whenever you got anything from him, it was a big deal. And I remember I was in first grade. We had a square dancing like performance or something. Okay, so I grew up in the South, so clearly I went to a very small private school. So so we did this whole thing, and I didn't want to do it. Like I was very shy. The thought of doing it was so nerve-wracking to me. The partner that I had was this kid. I remember he squeezed my hand so tightly it like hurt me. Like these are the memories I have of this. Like it was not a fun thing. And at the end of the performance, I ended up riding home with my dad, and when I got in the car, he gave me this book. And so that made it really special. That made it something for me that like I will always remember and hold on to because of the fact that it was from him. He also gave me one other thing growing up, was this turquoise ring. I was probably in middle school, and I remember it had fallen off my it fell off my dresser at some point, and it got vacuumed up, and I didn't realize it until much later, and the ring was gone, and I was so devastated. Like still to this day, I can feel that sadness when I lost that ring. So anyway, I guess I bring this up for the simple fact that, are there things that you received from your parents growing up, or grandparents, or an aunt or an uncle, or somebody like close to you that has meant something to you, that's been meaningful to you, that like touched you in some way? What was it, and do you still have it? Like that would be kind of an interesting question. Do you still have those things from your childhood? Like, a lot of us have like moved many times. We've had transitions in life. What were the things that you kept and took with you along the way? I don't know, just kind of an interesting idea, maybe something to look at, especially now at this time that we've been home. I know a lot of people have been going through old boxes, sorting through their attic and their basement and clearing things out and really looking at what they have and what's important to them. So, maybe you've already discovered some things. All right, one last thing, Flower Friday. So today 2 cards came up, and the first card, it was interesting. The first card, I read it and thought it was directed solely at me because I've had something that's come up the past couple weeks that I have been working through, and I thought, okay, well, it must be the second card for the collective, like the group. And then the more I felt into it and really tuned into the energy, I realized that it was something that we all need. So the first card right here is Bee Balm. The message is to be still. It's an energy of hope. It dissolves distraction, tension, anguish, despair, sadness, trauma, or post-traumatic stress, and magnifies soothing calm during times of transition, trauma, or heartache, one-pointed focus, lightheartedness, hope, and compassion. Oh, it sounds really beautiful, doesn't it? And then the second card is Arctic Lupine, which the message is you are supported, and it activates deep peace. So it dissolves worry, anxiety, overwhelm, a heavy heart, or feeling stretched too thin. It magnifies calm, comfort, peacefulness, a sense of safety and protection, effortless strength to face life's challenges. So I felt like these two really support each other and they go together. I mean, even the colors are complementary. So I don't know, just it's a message for us today. So take from that what feels good to you. You know, maybe bring in a little bit of purple today. If you can get some purple flowers, that would be great. Maybe you have some in your garden. You can just sit and kind of soak up their energy. Yeah, so lots of looking back this past week. Not really sure why that was the theme or what brought that on as a focus. See what comes up next week. I don't really have a plan. So we will see what unfolds, but I'm wishing you a beautiful day as always. Remember, we learn from one another, so please share this with anyone you feel would benefit or needs this message for today. I will say bye for now. See you tomorrow.